1, 2, 3. Listen.
Thank you, everyone. So I want to give a little subtext for the question that I think everybody here is going to hopefully put in our minds, which is, what is the best use of our potential to positively impact the world? And so with that, if I can make this thing, I moved to India in 2004. I came out with Microsoft to help start their research lab. And the first thing I noticed is, unlike America, India does a bad job of separating its rich from its poor. And literally I was walking back to my apartment one day and I almost stepped on a baby. And her father was selling Q-tips out in the street trying to provide for her. And it bugged me. Clearly, this little girl is not going to grow up with the same set of opportunities as a kid that's born in that apartment there. And I kept asking myself this question of, okay, I'd worked on Office, I'd worked on Windows, I'd designed a lot of software. What can I do to apply my skills to address all of this inequity that I saw everywhere around me? And the answer came in the form of actually a research paper by a guy named Ira Magaziner. And what he did is talking about, why do people actually flow in and out of poverty? He told one story that we may know. It's like, people go into poverty due to healthcare-related debt. But that's not the reason they get out. They get out because they basically get, different jobs. And those jobs have different, and you clearly make more money when you get a different job. And so if you take these two characters of Mary and Gina, who are actually real people on our website, they have very similar backgrounds. They have similar education levels. They both, speak Kannada, which is the local language of Bangalore. But why do they earn these different amounts of money? And so in the case of Mary, she was born in the slum, educated in the slum, and only knew people in the slum, and thus got a job in the slum. Whereas Gina was also born and educated in the slum, but knew some rich family, and was ultimately able to connect to a better job that paid her more money. And so that was the main point of this paper, that if you want to look at how people get out of poverty, most often, if they're not an entrepreneur, it's usually access to jobs. How do they get those jobs? It's usually constrained by the strength of their social network. And my thought was like, I think technology can do something about this. So, additionally, there was one other problem that we saw that clearly anybody who's ever been to Bangalore or most developing world cities see, which is, as people get richer, they buy cars. And as they buy cars, traffic gets worse. And if traffic's getting worse, if you want to keep your commute time constant and only spend 90 minutes each way commuting back and forth to your job, literally the jobs that you can consider are shrinking each year. So, what do we do about this? So Babajob began as a digital intervention to try to address this problem of how do we connect the poor to better paying nearby jobs with employers that actually hire them. Now, everyone would go, but wait, poor people don't use computers. How the hell are you going to make digital profiles? And so we came up with a bunch of innovative solutions, such that anybody could give us a missed call, as in they could call us, and then we'd immediately call them back. And then an automated line would say, hey, press 1 if you're in Bangalore, press 2 if you're in Delhi. Press 1 if you'd like a driver job, press 2 if you'd like a security guard job. We then also began to call all of the employers that we knew were looking for people and began to get those on our system. And such that we could connect all of those jobs via an algorithm and just send them as SMSs every day to anybody who needed a job. Then as we began to get more press and put these things on the web, and as the mobile internet began to get more and more traction, people would Google things like, I want a driver job in Bangalore. And because we had all that content, we got ranked very well on Google, better and better and better each year. This allowed us this sort of virtuous cycle of getting more and more people onto our platform, more and more employers onto our platform, and then ultimately employers then paid us to access all of those job seekers. As we evolved further, we did a set of other technology innovations, such as, job seekers we'd find, given we had a telephone number, would try to chat with us via text messages all the time. So we took that and put it on Facebook Messenger and then said, hey, you can snap a picture of your driver's license, or you can snap a picture of your ID, or record a voice clip about yourself. And then we'd use, frankly, a bunch of really complicated AI technology to basically then say, hey, this is a legitimate driver's license, and this is the level of English this person can speak, and use that as an assessment framework and a rating framework back to employers. And so as we progressed, we were supported by lots of people, many of which are in the room today, and I want to give gratitude for that, for thanking us and supporting us on this journey. We wouldn't have got there without the support of USAID and many others. And additionally, at the end of all of this, if I think our last stats for June 2017, we had 8.5 million verified applicants, people that actually called, verified their telephone numbers, applied for a job, and go through the system. We had 500,000 employers that used us to hire. On average, those hired job seekers chose jobs that paid 20% more money and also reduced their commutes by 14 minutes a day. Then, as Daniel said last week, we got acquired. And this acquisition is awesome. It's going to create the largest aspiring job platform in India. It's got almost 20 million people on top of that. And it's funny because as I think about moving from essentially an operational to an advisory role in that new entity, this question of how do I best leverage my potential to do the most good and impact the world is certainly front and center for me. So if any of you would like to help influence the answer to that question, welcome to come and chat. And I hope everyone here keeps asking that question for the rest of our lives. Thank you.
You haven't heard